Okay, so this video will learn about the data types in Python. Now, what is data type, right? So data type is basically that defines something. What defines that what type of data or a variable can hold. I think we have uh, discussed about variable, what is a variable, how to create a variable. So it will hold certain value, right? So what is the data type, like whether it is an integer type, float, string, or bool type, right? So basically these are the four main data type what we found, which what we have in Python. And then let's see how these three different different data type look like. So I will start with let's say I have a variable called x which holds a value 100. Now when I print the value of x and print the data type, so we'll use a function which we have learned earlier, which is, so this is having this variable is this it's a whole number. So an integer is basically a whole number with no decimal places. Okay, so that is how we define an integer in Python. And the number with decimal places like 100.05 or 3.14 are called floats. So let's say we have a number. Now we'll reuse the code to save some time. So now I have some code like let's say 3.14. Now you see that the same variable is of type float because it is having decimal places. It is a number with decimal places. Okay, so the Python treats this particular variable as a float type. I hope it's clear. Not, then you can again try to go through it again, because for us understanding the data types in Python is very critical, very important. Okay, so this is a float value. So non-numerical data. So now data can be classified as a numerical and non-numerical type, right? So we have discussed like, okay, so numerical without decimal places is an integer, and with decimal is a float. But what about the non-decimal data? So what would be the example of non-numerical data would be letters or words, and sentence is what we use there. So basically these are called strings. Okay, so strings we can define or create it. We can build strings using a single quote, India, or we can use the double quotes as well. Okay, so I will go with the same code to save some time. Control V. Okay, so now you see the data type of x is in string type. Now coming to the last point, where we have something called true or false. So if some variable is holding a value true or false, so then that variable is become a boolean type. Okay, so that is basically become a boolean. Let's say I'm holding the true value, so the value is true, and the data type is bool type. So there is another type is called, so in Python we have another data type called none type, and there is a value called none, right? So class none type. So this is another data type we also use. If you can define none, so it is a data type defined in Python. So that's all about the data types. Now we'll learn about how to convert the data types. So why we need to learn that? So whether the conversion is possible in the Python? Yes, it's very much possible. And why do we need that? Why we need that? So there might be a case where I am having certain value, certain data types, and I need to convert it. So depend upon use case to use case, but there is a possibility we can do that. Okay, so for example, uh, I have let's say x equals to 100, right? So if this is a integer type, I want to convert into a float, so I just pass x value here and it will create it into a float. Okay, now if I have a number equals 200, okay, so what is the type? Type of number will be, it's a string. Now if I do like that, it will do the magic for us. It is now no longer let me store in a result, and then we'll try to first print the result, and then we'll try to print the type. Okay, let me type here. Okay, so now it has basically converted number, which is of a string type, to a integer type, right? But be cautious if you are doing like something which is like say name, right? Now if you try to convert this, it will give you error, because this is itself not making any sense, right? Because obviously name is something which is not possible to do, so this will give some error. So be careful when we are doing certain conversions. Okay, and also when you are doing something like this, so it will do that, right? It will just ignore that number. Yeah, so I think that's all about the data type and the conversion. Okay, I forgot to miss about the strings one. So we can also use like if I want to convert, let's say Python so str also, so we can convert, we can also use like that. Okay, so str, so when you want to convert int or any other number into a string, so we can use str. So these are the ways we can convert, so you can read about it more. However, this should be sufficient for you to get started. That's all for this video. See you in another video.